So now we're going to begin putting our movie together. What I want to have access to is that folder from the first movie, my Hizzy iMovie folder, which has all the things I want to use, because we're going to be using all of these items to make our movie. Firstly though, let's have a look at how we can actually import and insert things into iMovie. So I'm going to start with some text. I want a title to start. I'm going to go to Titles, and I've got a whole range of titles that I can choose from iMovie. I'm just going to grab any random one. I'm going to click and drag it, and you'll notice how it appears in my timeline. So I drag it in and it will appear on the right hand side, and that will preview what it looks like. So if I want to edit the text, I can double click and then go over here and actually edit the text. Once I've done that, I can press play and I'll see the preview. So you'll notice that the text gets a little bit bigger, it zooms in a bit. Now this is what we call a scrub head. I can click on that to move it backwards and forwards to see what's happening in my video, and you'll notice on the timeline it gives me in seconds how long the video goes for. Over here I can grab the edge of my video and make it shorter or longer, and I can do this for pictures, movies, whatever I want. Whenever I click on an item in the timeline, in the top right hand corner things will highlight that I can edit. So on this one I can press the T and I can change the font, the size, the bold, the italics, and I can go to information, and in information I can set how long I want it to run for. So I want it to be 5 seconds exactly, and that will change it for me. When I click anywhere inside a clip, if I right click, I get more options. So one of the options you can do is actually split. In other words, put a cut. So if I want to cut this in half, I can click, right click and go split clip, and you'll now notice that I have two separate clips. So I might want to delete this one, for instance. If I right click again, you'll see other options which we'll be able to play with later, but cut, copy and delete are just like when you use Microsoft Word. So here I have a title. 2.4 seconds, I'm going to drag it, make it a bit longer, and now I want to add in a picture. So to add in a picture, I'm going to go to my Finder, and I'm just going to grab one of the pictures I have in here, and click and drag that to iMovie. Now that I've added that picture to iMovie, this is where we talk about layers. You'll notice that the picture is sitting on top of my introduction. So when I play the video from here, I can see my intro. When I get to the picture, I can no longer see that text. The reason for that is that the picture is layered on top. So whatever is on top will cover whatever is underneath it. So if I want to see this text and the picture at the same time, I need to get the picture underneath the text. So I'm just going to click, and I can simply drag around to make my text appear above the picture. So now when I play it, you'll notice that it says Intro to Movie and the picture's in the background. I'll also notice that the image is going longer, 4 seconds, than the intro. So I'm going to click on the image, I'm going to go to Information, and I'm going to make it 3 seconds. When I click on the image, you'll notice that it's covered in yellow. That's how you know you've selected something. In the top right hand corner, there's now a lot of different options I can play around with this picture. I have color, so I can play around with the color of the picture, and we're not going to go through every single one of these because you're not going to use a lot of them, and you can play around with these yourself, but I can play around with color there. I have more color options where I can make it brighter, lighter, darker, whatever I may want to do. The little crop symbol, that allows me to just have the picture appear normally. I can crop to fill, which means I can actually cut out bits of the picture if I want. So I'm only going to show that much of the picture. And then we have what we call Ken Burns. Now the Ken Burns effect is whenever you have a picture in iMovie, you'll notice that it moves in and out, it zooms. So Ken Burns says put a start point, so I want the picture to start there, and put an end point, and I want the picture to end like that. and then when we play it, we'll be able to see that. So I'm going to hit enter to say OK. And now when we play this, you'll notice how the picture moves from left to right. That's the Ken Burns effect. So if I go on the picture again, and this time I just say fit, that picture's not going to move at all. If I go back to Ken Burns, I say start, I say end, we'll watch it move again. So there's an effect for the image there. If I click on the image and I right click, same thing, I can split the clip. So I now have two instances of that picture that I can play around with. I can click and drag to highlight sections. So if I only want that section, I press delete, it deletes that little section out. So we can do that for things like pictures and movies in case we want to make any edits. And here I'm going to click on this picture again. I'm going to change the color so they look a bit different to each other. And I'm going to say fit. And when we play through, we'll have one image with the Ken Burns effect, one image that looks a little bit darker and doesn't move, and then back to the Ken Burns effect. Now this doesn't look great, but just to give you an idea of how you can actually edit the things inside. The last option up here I can click on are effects. Even though they're called video and audio effects, we can apply them to a picture. And again, they're just going to change the look. So if I go back to video effects, I get all the options on the left, and I can do these to videos or pictures. So I want it to look like an X-ray, I can cover it over that. I want a sci-fi look, romantic, all these different options. I simply click on it, and it's going to apply it to this part of the picture. If I go to the middle one, and I go video effect, this one I'm going to say I want it to be black and white. So that picture is going to go black and white, and the first picture will stay exactly the same because I haven't touched it since. So I've got black and white and then X-ray. So they're all available with those three little circles under video effect. There's no audio yet, we'll look at those effects in a moment.